Hey there, YouTube. Cheers. Thought I'd get on for a minute. And so maybe this will be something that I'll do on a bit of a regular basis. I don't know. But so my cousin was at my house earlier this year, and he was looking at all the records that I have rather. And so he thinks I have too many. And I do have a lot. I think it's subjective. But anyway, he asked me a question. He said, "Do you even listen to all these records? You couldn't listen to these records in your lifetime." And while maybe that's true, it got me to thinking. And so what I've done, and I started doing this a few months ago, but I started on Sundays. I pull maybe 5 or 6 full LPs and maybe one or two 12-inch singles, and sometimes a CD or two. And I would just commit to listening to the whole thing uh, that week. I listened to the whole album, side A, side B, everything that there was, and play it and listen to it and really just concentrate on it. And so yesterday, as I was pulling this week's records, I was looking at last week's records, and I thought, well, maybe I'll just get on and share, because I do watch a lot of YouTube videos where people are sharing their music collection, and I've found records that I'd never heard of and bought them subsequently, or at least been reminded of records that I have, and oh wow, I haven't seen that album or thought of that album in a while. Maybe I'll go and listen to it. And so that's what this is for. Feel free in the comments if you want to post what some of your favorite records are, some of them uh, LPs or records or CDs are. I'd love to maybe go listen to them if I don't have them already, or if I'm not familiar with them, and I'm sure there will be some like that. Anyway, so I just have a small pile. I want to keep this short. So here is the first album that I listened to, and I started out the week last week, actually Monday, listening to this Marvin Gaye, the What's Going On album. This is from 1971. It was originally issued in May of 1971. This is a fantastic album, and this is actually a 1980s reissue that I have. Oh, this is falling apart. On the Motown label in the early 80s. Motown started reissuing some of their back catalog and that of the labels that they distributed, and they just released everything on the Motown label. And so this album is absolutely fantastic. There's a reason why I think it's revered as one of the greatest albums of all time. Of course, the lead track, What's Going On, um, Flying High in the Friendly Sky, What's Happening, Brother. That's just a great song, and it really, I think it gives you context of what soldiers coming back from the war would have experienced at that time, and even today may have lost track of what's even going on here. Also, Mercy, Mercy Me, God is Love is are some of my favorite songs on this album. I actually played this all the way through, and then I went back and listened to side one again, all the way through a second time. And so, while this album does get a little bit pricey today, I paid uh, $50 for this reissue. This one I got last year because I have an original pressing, but it's in bad shape. But that is an absolute fantastic album. The next one, and I should say this. So when I'm choosing records for the week, I try and choose different genres and not just listen to the same genre, unless it's based on a specific artist. A couple of weeks ago, I played um, all Prince albums that week, but normally it's just different genres. And so here's the jazz album that I picked last week, Jackie McLean Bluesnik. This album came out in 1962, I believe, but this is a 70s reissue. You can tell by that Blue Note label. Uh, I couldn't afford a original pressing of this. Those original Blue Note pressings do uh, tend to get a little bit pricey, but this reissue price tag still on it. I paid $30 for this. I like everything on this album except the song "Going Way Blues," the second song on side one. Everything else on here I absolutely adore. Specifically the Bluesnick, the opening track, nice, great up tempo song, really great. Then Drew's Blues is another great song, and then on the B side, Cool Green is one of my also favorite songs from this album. And so, if you can get a nice reissue of this, I don't know if this has been reissued uh, currently, but even if you can find one of these '70s reissues, I think it's worth the price. I really enjoyed playing this. While I did just play it once last week, I think I played this midweek last week, like on Wednesday. It was a great record. I listened to this just before bed, but I got it. It just kind of inspired me a little bit. Had a hard time getting to bed, but anyway, Jackie McLean, Bluesnick, and I should say playing on here is Freddie Hubbard on the trumpet, of course Jackie McLean on alto sax, Kenny Drew on piano, Doug Watkins on bass, and Pete LaRocca on drums. Second album from last week. I actually played this on Friday night. One of my favorite Steely Dan albums, The Royal Scam. Oh, this is such a great album, and I hadn't played it um, in a while, uh, but this is an early pressing of this. Oh, I enjoy almost everything on this album. My favorite song though on this album is the title track, "The World Scam," which closes out the album. Oh, I really, really enjoy that record. After I played the whole album, I think I played the Royal Scam. Well, I probably played that song 3 or 4 times. I just sat at the turntable and just played it over and over again. I really do enjoy that song. Also, on this album, great songs, Haitian Divorce, um, Kid Charlemagne, also on here, and I don't particularly care for the Sign In Stranger record or the Fez. They're okay, but I hadn't played those. I hadn't listened to those songs in a long time, so I'm glad I listened to them again. But sometimes when I play this album, I do play it all the way through. But sometimes I'll just choose. But again, I hadn't played this album in quite a while. And this album was released in, I want to say, 1975, 1976. But oh, this is one of my absolute favorite Steely Dan records. And I actually picked out a Steely Dan record to listen to this week. But if I do this again next week, I'll show that one. This other album, this really, and I listened to this on Saturday night. Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. This is and the Soul Crusaders Toronto broadcast, 1977. This album, it's a double album. It is absolutely fantastic. This was um this one's a gatefold. This was a concert that was held in February of 1977 in Toronto, Canada. I don't remember I think it says it on here. I don't remember what the name of the venue is. Yeah, February 13th, 1977 at the Maple Leaf Gardens. Discogs calls this a bootleg album, and it maybe it's on a label, uh, Parachute something. I don't have my glasses. I can't see that small writing. But what I will say is this: while you can't get this on Discogs, I got this from a local record store. While you can't get this on Discogs, it's on eBay and other platforms. I highly recommend it. This is volume one, the first half of the show. I do have volume two, and I'll be listening to volume two this week. It's on a uh, This one's on clear vinyl, and this album is this. I played this actually twice last week. The standout for me on this song is the last song on side B, "Growing Up." And what I liked about this live album with Bruce Springsteen is he really interacted a lot with the crowd, and he told stories throughout the performance. And on the song um, "Growing Up," this last song, he told the story about actually his parents. It was sounded like a very personal story, almost like he was really opening up. But he talked about his parents. His mother was a secretary in a large office building. Of course, they're from New Jersey, and his dad was drove trucks, and I think he said was a jail guard too, or something. But anyway, he talked about how when he got of age of 16, he just started going out, and he'd be gone for a day or two, and every night he said his mother would just sit on the couch and watch TV until she fell asleep, and she'd wake up in the morning to go to work. And his dad would sit in the kitchen and turn out all the lights in the house and smoke cigarettes and drink beer. It sounded like a very boring household that just nothing was going on and not much of a sense of family. But then he talked about how, when he and his sister would come in, if he saw that his dad was up, he'd try to sneak in, but oftentimes his dad would be there and his dad would grill him on how he was living, how he made his money. And he said this one time they were almost ready to fight, and his mom had to come in and break it up and tell his dad that it's his life. He's going to have to decide how he lives it. And it really stood out to me, especially as a parent with grown children. All of my kids are grown. The youngest is 22. The oldest, the other two are in their 30s. I have a grandson that we've raised. It was 14. But you don't always agree with the decisions that your children make, but it's their life. We get a few years to raise them, and then you just gotta let them go and pray that they make good choices. But specifically, so my middle daughter is an RN, and my youngest daughter, when she got out of school, she was initially a phlebotomist, but she didn't like that, and she was going to go to nursing school, and she enrolled in nursing school like her sister did. But then she changed her mind, and she's going into something. Her son, my grandson, is autistic, and she's going into something related to dealing with children with autism. And while that's great, I tried to convince her, hey, healthcare is a great market for the future. Not many layoffs. You can make great money. You can work whenever you want. If you want to work mornings, you want to work afternoons, you want to work overnight, you can do that. But ultimately, she's got to make her own decisions. And so that song really stood out to me, and the story that he told. And then as he got into the song, that really stood out to me. But I don't want to keep going too much on that one. I really do like this record. I bought this record last year, and I think I may have skimmed some of the songs. I don't even think I had ever listened to it all like I did. And I have a few more of these performances like this, not just this one, but a few more that I'll be listening to in the coming weeks. But his version of Thunder Road on here is, uh, I'm sorry, the song is "It's My Life," not "Growing Up." "It's My Life" is the song that I'm talking about. "Growing Up" is nice, and he tells a great story at the beginning of that song. But the song "It's My Life," and it's actually the entire B side of record one, because this is a double album. It's actually the entire B side is the song "Growing Up," because that story that he tells is kind of long. So I do apologize. I'm sorry. "Growing Up" is a great song. He tells a really interesting story about that one too. And then also the song in here on here, "Spirit of the Night," really stood out. But I like the whole thing. This is absolutely an album that I will play on a regular basis, and I can play the whole thing. and both records and have a great time. Look at that young Bruce Springsteen there. Anyway, I wanted to try to keep this short, and I'm already going, so let me move on. Do that later. This album, um, I chose Art of Noise. Who's Afraid of the Art of Noise? This came out in 85, 86, I want to say. I hadn't played this record in a long time, and I realize why I don't play this record very often. I don't like it that much. I really like the song Beatbox and Moments in Love. I bought this record when it came out when I was a teenager, and then I rebought it again a few years ago. And the songs on here, there's three songs on here I like. Um, Beatbox, the version one, Moments in Love, and then Close to the Edit. That's like part two of Beatbox. The last song on here, it's a short song, less than 2 minutes. Realization, it was okay, but the rest of this album, it was hard to listen to. It's not for me. I do have their greatest hits on CD. That I don't even think I've ever played. I've had it for a little while. It was given to me. One of the record stores I go to, I was local record stores I went to. One Saturday I was there. He gotten a whole bunch of CDs, jazz related CDs. So he was like, just go in and take what you want. And I grabbed a few, and I remember I grabbed the that one, but I don't think I've ever actually listened to it. This is an album that I'm gonna put this up and probably not listen to this ever again the whole way through. I'll continue to every now and then play Beatbox and Moments in Love. I have, I think I have them on promo 12-inch singles somewhere. If I can find those, which I think I have, I'd get rid of that album in a heartbeat. Anyway, this album I didn't get a chance to listen to. This is the Stooges. Um, this is their. This was just issued last month. I haven't had it long, but I never listened to it yet. This is on uh, bright red vinyl. This is the John Cale original mixes of the Stooges uh, album that was reissued last month by for the Rocktober special. Actually, this month for the Rocktober special that Rhino does every month. And so I've had this probably for 3 weeks, and I haven't had an opportunity to listen to it. I guess my cousin was kind of right. And so I didn't get a chance to listen to this last week. So I'll play it this week. I might listen to it tonight if I can. I'm very familiar with the original mix, but apparently this is a little bit differently mixed with the original mix. So I'll see what it is and I'll play that one. Then the 12-inch single that I listened to last week, hadn't played in a while, was The Time. Cool. This is a promo 12-inch single, just on the Warner label. And this has the album version at 10:06 and the original 45 version, the edit version at 3:12. I listened to both sides. This is a classic tune. No, there's nothing on the beast on the black. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to drop in the comments some of your favorite tunes or albums that you've listened to on a regular basis. Thanks for watching. I hope that everyone is doing well. God bless and keep you. To my Christian brothers and sisters out there, to my non-believer brothers and sisters, just keep on keeping on. Thank you so much again for watching, and cheers.